In this video, we're going to examine how we make predictions using time series data. So our time series data here is based on parcel deliveries, which are recorded for 3 days of the week in the month of January. So we've got Monday, Wednesday, Friday for the first week, and then that cycle repeats into the second week. Now, to make analysis of the time series data easier, what we'll do is we'll change the data for time into numerical data. So Monday the 1st of January becomes t equals 1. And we can see that continues all the way down to the table where Wednesday the 17th of January is t equals 8. To make predictions, we need to be aware of the different days of the week. So for example, we can expect Monday to be a higher score and Wednesday and Friday to be a lower score based on the information we see here from this table. So what we need to do is calculate what's called seasonal indices, or in the case of our data, based on the days. This is basically saying how much can we expect Mondays to be above the typical average for a week. Now, we did this on a previous video and we saw that Mondays have a seasonal index of 1.3229. What that means is that if you calculate the average for a week of parcel deliveries, you'd expect Monday to be above it by multiplying by 1.3229. Likewise, Wednesday and Fridays will be below that average. So the seasonal index is going to help us with predictions, because one of the first things we do is create a trend line. And our trend line will be based on deseasonalized scores, which were also calculated in a previous video. So in this table coming up, we can see that we've got our deseasonalized data. We're going to use the time column, where t is equal to 1 through to 8, and the deseasonalized data to create a line of best fit. We'll then use our seasonal indices to help us adjust for the relative day of the week. So using the two columns here in red, the first thing we're going to do is find a least squares regression line. It's suggested that you pause the video here and then check to see if you agree with our least squares regression line. Now that we've got our line, we're going to use this to make a prediction. And the 2 days that we're going to make predictions for are Friday the 19th of January and Wednesday the 31st of January. Let's have a look at the Friday first. If we look at our table, that actually represents the next step in time, because we've got the Friday of the end of the third week, which is Friday the 19th of January. So in this case, t equals 9. Once we establish where the date is on the table, the next thing we do is substitute it into our least squares regression line. So this is helping us predict where the deseasonalized score will be for the Friday 19th of January. Comes out to be 12.7911. What we have to remember though is this is based on deseasonalized data. So what we do to change it to the real data is multiply it by the seasonal index. All of this we'll see in a moment when we have a look at the graph to make more sense of the steps that we take. So to get the real data prediction for Friday, we multiply 12.7911 by its seasonal index for Friday, which is 0.8663. When we do that, our result for that Friday comes out to be 11.3368. Now, of course, we can't have 0.3368 of a parcel, so we round that off to the nearest whole number, and we get a prediction of 11 deliveries for that particular Friday. Let's have a look at how this looks on the graph and how we can justify the steps that we just took. The points shown in orange represent the original data, and the blue points represent the seasonally adjusted scores, which is what we've based our line of best fit on, and that's the one shown in light green. So we're going to use that line of best fit to make our initial prediction, which is for t equals 9. So when we did that, we went to our light green line and we got a value of approximately 12.79, which we're showing here right now. Now that's based on the seasonally adjusted scores. What we need to do is keep in mind that Fridays are slightly lower. So we adjust it using our seasonal index. And that's when we got a result that was approximately 11.34, which we can mark here right now. So keep in mind, that's an adjustment based on our seasonal index. So the two steps are make a prediction based on the line of best fit and then adjust it using the seasonal index. Because this is within one cycle of the original data, even though it's extrapolation, we can be confident about our prediction. The next part of our question asked us to make a prediction for Wednesday the 31st of January. Now we're going to have to extend our table quite a bit, and if we follow the sequence of days, which are Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we'll find that Wednesday the 31st of January would represent the 14th value in the table following that same sequence of days all the way through. So in this case, t equals 14. And that's what we're going to substitute into our line of best fit, remembering that'll predict the seasonally adjusted score for the 31st of January. And if we do that, we get a score of 15.4173. Now we need to adjust that to take into account the fact that Wednesdays are always a bit lower, and we do that by multiplying by the seasonal index. In this instance, we get a result of 12.5002. So rounding that off to a whole number of parcels, we get a score of 13 deliveries for Wednesday the 31st of January. So let's have a look at how that compares on our graph to our original data. Using a value of t equals 14, we can see that would be on the extreme right of our horizontal axis. And following our green line, which is the line of best fit, we can see the predicted score for the seasonally adjusted value would match that dot. Now Wednesdays match t values of t equals 8, 5, and 2. And you can see from the graph that all the actual data is below the line of best fit. So our predicted score for the Wednesday is also going to be below. In this case, it was approximately 12.50. So any prediction outside the given data is given the label of extrapolation. But if it's within one cycle, there's some leniency and we can have some faith in that prediction. This is significantly away from the scores that were given. So we have to say that this prediction is unreliable. So whilst we did get a score of 13 deliveries for that particular Wednesday, and it does look relevant to the pattern that's occurring, because it's well outside the given data, we call it extrapolation, and that means that we do not have confidence in that particular prediction.